All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back one more time. Hello and welcome everyone. This is Professor Siddharth Surana. I hope you guys are doing good. मैं तो हमेशा मस्ती चलना रही. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, we have completed. By the way, this is actually excellent news. क्या? Once we finish questions of this chapter, today is going to mark a historic day for you, because completion of questions of this chapter basically now means that we are done with net taxable total income. Do you realize? But the laptop is not cooperating. Chal chhod to. Well, let's skip today's lecture. I assume that you will do the questions on your own and be little bit of tax rate. Whatever I had planned to do till the end of the lecture, it is assumed that you all have studied. So tomorrow morning will come with a fresh mind. Assume that much past is over. अभी cooperate नहीं कर रहा है ना. What happened to the laptop all of a sudden? Ladies and gentlemen, my laptop is now working. Yeah. So we will go to the questions of the chapter deduction. छोटी छोटी खुशियाँ. I told you, my lectures are about to get over. So I have to make sure that you have so much fun in my class that at least somebody cries. And every time someone cries when my lecture gets over. Not all batches, not all students, but once in a while I have students crying in my last lecture. I take that as an opportunity to go and flaunt in front of others. I don't lie. I say it only when it has actually happened. So go and flaunt in front of people. Especially my wife. You have no value for me. You consider me bad debts written off. But do you know, just because my batch is over today, there were people who were crying. I don't lie to her. So when it actually happens, तो वो flaunt करने का जो वो अंदर से वो what do you, that evil kind of that feeling. So for that I have to first create that atmosphere also. हाँ, तो I know some are like sir चालू रखो, अच्छा जा रहा है. Question number 177, which is on page number 199. Question number कौन? हाँ, fast answer your doubt. In the meanwhile, you all open page number. ठीक है, you ask your doubt. No. JJA नहीं, double J double A. JJA is not in your syllabus. 5 times I said Jajja Jajja not Jajja. You can't be making stupid mistakes. You think Jajja and Jajja are same? No, these are unacceptable mistakes. You can't make such mistakes. Otherwise, you are inviting trouble. बोल क्या? हाँ, the employee which you have recruited, that deduction will be given for 3 years. Correct है? चलो 199 only, no? Page number wrong I have written. हाँ, first year का salary you get deduction for 3 years. That is how I came to 130. No. So once you recruit, that point number 2 of 80 double J double A means what? Once you recruit and you start paying that salary, 100 so you are getting on an annual basis. Extra 30% you will get for 3 years. Followed now? Page number is correct. Page number 199. Question number 177. Please read the question.
Mr. X is employed by a multinational company in India on a basic salary of 45,000 per month. The earnest allowance of 25,000 per month, of which 40% is entering into retirement benefits. The employer and employee contribute 3,500 per month to recognized provident fund. The interest credited to this RPF during the year is 65,000 at the rate 10.5% per annum. The employer and employee also contribute 8,000 per month and 6,000 per month, respectively, to the notified pension scheme. He participated in a quiz show organized by Sony Entertainment Television. He won cash 5 lakhs and a car worth 1 lakh, TDS 1 lakh 80,000. He has income from house property of 1 lakh 20,000. However, he has brought forward loss of house property of 70,000 of assessment year 21-22. During the year, he made the following payments: contribution to PPF 15,000, life insurance premium on policy purchased per se 5 years ago 16,000, sum assured 1,80,000, life insurance premium on dependent mother 6,000, sum assured 50,000. On 21st July 24, he purchased a life insurance policy in the name of his wife, for which he paid a premium of 18,500, sum assured 1,20,000. Wife suffers from APU disability. Fees paid to school for education of his three children, 6,000 each. Fees paid to coaching class for tuition of his three children, 3,000 each. You are required to calculate his total income.
What is the question asking you to do? See, one thing you have to clearly understand, that you get marks only for solving what they are asking. If they ask total income, you say, acha, acha, I see lot of chapter 6, so I will do only chapter 6, or I will do only the salary part, or I will do only the house property part. It does not work like that. You have to do what? Calculate total income. That means, can I say question is asking you to calculate NTTI? Today is the first day in your life when you are in a position to calculate NTTI, because bro, today is the first day of your life where you have actually completed all the chapters of NTTI. Every time you are asked a question to calculate NTTI, every time a question is asking you to calculate NTTI, please hear me out. You have to write all the heads in order. You will get in your exam a question which is asking you to calculate tax liability. Still, you have to calculate income first. You can't calculate tax without calculating income. So whether the question is calculate total income and tax, whether the question is calculate total income, or the question is only tax, in all cases you have to first solve NTTI. And NTTI simply means one by one reproduce the various heads of income. You have to write all the heads of income one by one. And for that you have to examine. We will write whichever head this assessee has. Supposingly this assessee does not have PGBP or capital gain. We won't write. We will write only what he has. For example, does he have income from salary? So we will write everything under salary. Please pay attention. Your agenda should be, sequence should be clear in your mind. First, I will write everything of salary. Then I will write house property. Then I will check PGBP is not there. We've read the question once. Capital gain, other sources, clubbing, set off. I get GPA. Then deductions. I get NTTI and complete the question. If they ask tax, so we have to continue the question. Understood? So salary, one by one. All the particulars of salary that are given to you. First, basic salary. How much is given to you? How much of basic salary is taxable and how much is exempt? Fully taxable, because under basic salary you don't have any exemption, and therefore the full amount 5,40,000 will come in the outer column. Next, dearness allowance. What is the total dearness allowance given to him? 25,000 per month, which makes the total DA of 3 lakh. However, I am not writing this 3 lakh in the amount column. I am going to split this DA into two parts. Some part of this DA is in terms. Some part of the DA is not in terms. What is the proportion of the DA in terms? 40%, which simply means what is DA not in terms? 60%. Which one of them is taxable, in terms or not in terms? Both are taxable. Means if I write 120 year and I write 180 year, I am simply writing the total of 3 lakh in the outer column, which clearly means DA is fully taxable. Still we need the breakup, because certain places we need the combo of basic and DA incomes for certain calculation. Okay, next. The employer and employee both contribute to the recognized provident fund. One second. You have to answer what I am asking. In this calculation right now, which one will I take? Employer, employee, both of them or none of them? Employer, because that is over and above his salary. Listen, employee must have contributed from this amount. His 5,40,000 ka salary, he must have contributed something, for which he is eligible for some tax benefit, which will come under 80C. But from here, we are not going to do anything. The employer contribution is extra, so that we will have to add. But do one thing. First step is, where you see that employee contribution in the question, against that 6,000 and the employee contribution 3,500 against that 3,500 where employee contribution is written, you please mention 80C. I'll tell you the reason. If you see, the investments of this question are given in a list. Investments are given in a list. Once we go to chapter 6 and you start solving that list, you will forget this. This is the first thing that you have to take under 80C. Do you understand this? And therefore, kya? Employer will come here, but against employee contribution, write 80C so that we don't forget it. So yes, here we will take employer contribution to RPF. Wait, my questioning is not over. This I will write in the inner column or outer column. Inner column. Why? Because in this we don't have any deduction. We have exemption. And therefore we have to write inner column. Under NPS we have deduction. So we write under outer column. But here we will write in the inner column. What is exempt? And for this salary we have to take 5.4 plus 1.2, which is 12% of 6,60,000. However, of course, the exemption cannot exceed the amount that you have taken, and consequently this is going to be kya, bro? Thank you. Nil. Correct hai? Everyone is with me? Chalo, next. Interest on RPF. Listen, I know the final answer of the question. Okay. If I say next, you have to say what is next. Otherwise, I will tear your notebooks into pieces and throw them. Okay. And sir, all the data of all the lectures are stored in our notebook. Still, I will throw them. Or maybe I will not disrespect the knowledge in your notebook. I will keep them with me, but not give it back to you, even after your exams. So if I ask what is next from your mouth, I want to hear what is next. What is next? Interest on RPF, which is paid to him at a rate of 10.5%. What Provident Fund cannot give more than 9.5. They can give. Where do I write it? Inner column or outer column? Why? Because we have an exemption. Exempt up to 9.5%. If 10.5 is 65,000, so 9.5 is how much? 58,810, 6190. 15 years and thousands like you guys. 6190 right hai? If you don't calculate for yourself just because you have to write now, so you are going to miss certain important things for sure. So your writing will become a hindrance for your participation and your overall marks, because just assume this is your notebook and you are writing instead of me. You speak, no, you don't understand everyday ka solutions or everyday ka PDF are coming. So the solution is not going anywhere. You will be getting access to the solution. Your class, you are defeating the purpose of coming to classroom. If solution is what you want, without coming to class also PDF will come to you. I hope I am very clear on this. But still you do whatever you want to. If I am asking something, I want everyone to give me the answer. Not that two people who are not writing will answer and the others will write. That is not going to be tolerated. I am very clear. So if I say next, I want to know what is next. Employer and employee both contribute to NPS. Now here what will I write? Employer, because employee contribution again must have been made from 540. Correct hai? So that is a deduction which we will take later. Here in salary we will add only employer contribution to NPS. Okay, second question. Inner column ke outer column? Why outer column? Because here we don't have any exemption. Here we have deduction. So this 8,000 into 12, 96,000 will fully go in the, but then this time against 8,000 and 6,000 both amounts you will write 80C CDN. See, last time we wrote only against employee contribution. Why? Because for employer contribution we got exemption. So deduction is only for employee contribution in RPF. And in NPS, we have both deductions, CCD multiple subsections. So here we are going to write 80 CCD against both 8 as well as 6. So we have from this paragraph 3 deductions to be careful about while calculating our deductions. For now, we will continue. I think salary ka part is over now. Fantastic. This will be referred to as your gross. No, whoever said income from salary is wrong. Absolutely wrong. Because you've forgotten a very, no, now no point. You've forgotten a very, very big and important thing. Kya, sir? So how much is this? 9,42,190. Next step, minus deductions under section 16. At least standard deduction we will give even if there is no entertainment allowance or professional tax paid. 50,000. We are giving all chapter 6 se matlab we are taking old regime. If it was new regime, so we would have subtracted. If it was new regime, so we would have subtracted 8,92,000. You are understanding what I am speaking? You want to speak only what you have decided. What was my question? What was my question? So if it was new regime, I would have subtracted how much? You are saying 892. 875. 75,000. But we are giving all chapter 6 means we are going by the old regime. So what is this? 8,92,190. Do you understand? This becomes my income from salary. Next, what are you thinking? I want to know that. I have to one by one complete all my heads of income. So second, income from, what is the income given? 1,20,000. But why will I write it in the inner column? Because I have some brought forward loss which is under section 71B, because it is brought forward house property loss and which is within the period of 8 years. So I will adjust this and get 50,000 as my taxable income from house property. Next, what are you thinking? PGBP not there. Next, capital gain not there. We won't write anything which is not there. Now you can say income from other sources. We only have casual winning of 5 plus 1, that is 6 lakh. Correct hai? No other income. Achha, the TDS that is deducted, please understand, aisa nahi that we have not discussed. I have told you, TDS gets deducted on your income, but in income we will take the full amount. Whatever tax got deducted, now later you can get the money back from the government, so that will be adjusted if at all we calculate our. You have brain to understand TDS ka amount will be adjusted in your tax payable. Right now we are calculating income. So in income calculation, TDS has got no relevance. Okay. And we come to our gross total income of rupees 15,42,190. Now what will we do? From this GTI, we will give deduction under chapter 6A. Every time you give deduction under chapter 6A, every time, every question, develop this as a habit that you will always write maximum deduction will be how much. Always. Because our deduction can never exceed our gross total income. By chance, if I write 16 lakh deduction and I make my final answer as negative, then it's a blunder. The deduction can never be more than GTI. So for a safer side, always write it. So how much will be the maximum deduction? 15 lakh. Popert. You think you or me are so dumb that if I write 1540 to 190, it will click to me. But if I directly minus, it won't click to me. You think I am doing this to make you write this same figure? Then you are not understanding the purpose of writing what we are doing right now. We are not writing the word maximum, the amount in bracket, to copy this amount. If my total contains any income that will be taxable at special rate or section 35 AD, then that portion of my income is not eligible for deduction. No idiot on this planet will subtract 16 lakh. That much common sense you and me both have. But there will be some idiots who will subtract 10 lakh. Why? Because that is not making it negative. But 10 lakh cannot be subtracted here, because 1542 also contains casual winning, and thus my deduction shall be maximum 942. Is why we are writing maximum in bracket, not to copy the same amount. That means you are not understanding the purpose only. Are you now understanding what we are doing, bro? So maximum 9,42,019. Everyone is clear about this? Now one by one we will copy down all our deductions. First deduction that we have is deduction under section 80C. We have a long list given to us one by one. Let's start. The first amount, contribution to. If you go to PPF, no, then you are gadeda number one. You know why? Because what was the point of making you write in the para above? Is because if you start with this contribution to PPF, you go in the flow of the list given here, you will forget that you have marked something which is a part of 80C. It is a now or never situation. Your first step should be complete that, and then you can continue with the list given to you. So first thing that we will take is employee contribution to RPF, which is 3,500 into 12, giving you 42,000. I still want to know how you think and what you think. Though I know a lot about you by now. Let me try my luck. What next? Contribution to PPF. वो paragraph में you have written for NPS. Because two types of people who make mistakes here. One, they directly start with PPF without doing this. Then they will definitely forget it later. And second, when I inform them, you do this first, otherwise you will forget. So they want to do that 8,000 and 6,000 also here. Pagal hai kya? What is going on? Just because you have the fear that you will forget, so you will write CCD under C only. No, baad mein I will forget. So write CCD also here. No. Right now we will complete our 80C. Then we will come to CCD and write it. Correct hai? So yes, you are right when you say next will be contribution to PPF. Rupees 15,000. Next will be your Bol, what is next? Life insurance premium of self, no? Taken 5 years ago. 5 years ago, what was the limit of premium? Question says, no? Life insurance premium taken when? What is the date given? 5 years ago, what was the premium limit? कुछ नहीं है. There is no limit on premium in ETC, no? Unlimited premium is allowed, no? There is no premium का limit. Are you 100% sure? What are the other limits? So when you yourself are uttering from your mouth that there is 10% or 20%, then how can you say there is no limit? There is only overall limit. Is that 20, 10 or 15 not applicable on your premium? So if the policy, if the policy is taken till 11, 12, maximum premium will be 20%. But this is 5 years ago, means it is from 12, 13. So maximum premium will be 10%. Now you check what is the policy value. 1,80,000. How much premium we have paid? Is 16 within limit? To take full 16. If it was 20, then we would have taken only 18. Then total ka limit will apply. No, individual premium also you have to apply the limit. Next, life insurance premium of dependent mother. When was the policy taken? When was the policy taken? During this year. Kya? Have you lost your? I am asking you, when was the policy taken? You can't read and tell me about. Date is not given. Can you please answer what I'm asking? One last time I'm asking you. When was the policy taken? During this year. What limit will apply? What limit will apply? If you are not answering this question, I am walking out of the class, I'm telling you. Questions of deductions over and old regime of tax calculation is over the moment I pack my bag and leave here. क्या? ATC? So what's your answer? Mother is not covered under ATC. Mother is not covered under ATC. Parents are covered under 80D but not under ATC. Next. Next! Life insurance policy of wife. Wife is covered? Yes. Wife suffers from 80U disability. Don't be excited and say, haha, sir, everyone's wife suffers from 80U disability. 80DD भी मिलेगा. You have paid life insurance premium, not disability insurance. Some people are so foolish when this comes. I have seen students in the past. Sir, wife suffers from 80U. Sir, 75,000, 75. Pagal, if wife suffers from 80U, she will get 75,000 in her assessment. Just because your wife is disabled does not mean you are eligible for 80U. Like that, so every husband in the world will be eligible for 80U. She will get 80U. What are you doing? You are taking life insurance. And this is not disability insurance. This is life insurance. You paid premium. How much deduction you will get? What is the premium limit? 10%? Wrong. 15%. Why? After from 13-14, don't say after 13-14 because 13-14 is also included. 13-14 onwards, when you are paying premium for disabled, it is going to be maximum 15%. So what is the sum assured? What is the sum assured? 15% comes to 18,000 and your premium is 18,500. So we will restrict it to 18,000. Next. Fees paid to school. So can I say tuition fees of school? School, no. He has paid 6,000 into 3. So can I say we will take 18,000? No. Maximum 2 children. So we will take only 12,000. And then similar payment is made also to a coaching class. Maximum 2. No, not allowed. Nil. Understood? Have we completed the list of 80C? Yes. This total will become rupees 1,03,000. Wait, I am not taking this deduction because 80C can never be taken alone. With 80C, you have to take the overall limit also. Any deduction under 80C is subjected to double limit. First, is there an individual 80C limit? So can I say that this is within 80C limit of 1.5 lakh? But beyond this individual limit also, there is one total limit also, that is CCE, because CCE says C plus triple C plus CCD. So on individual amount, we are applying individual section limit, and on the total amount, we will apply the total section limit. It's a stupidity that both of them are 1.5. But we will check that also. Supposingly this was 153, I would have restricted it here only at 150 because individual limit is also there. Now then, in exam, you won't do this. In exam, you won't do this, but I am presenting it before you. Because in exam, if you have this, so you will have to write the amount. Am I going to apply the total limit? Total limit is not on C plus CCD. Total limit is on C plus triple C plus CCD. This question does not have triple C. If it comes in exam, I will not write this line. But here I am showing you the presentation. If it comes, maybe 5,000 also. So you will write that. You understand? And you'll write, and then CCD ka total mein you'll take. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. And now, of course, we will take 80 CCD. Everyone with me? 80 CCD mein we will get deduction of which contribution, employer or employee? Both. Correct? Hai? Here I will take which one, employer or employee? Take both only, no? Employee. Why? Because employer contribution is done under CCD subsection 2. And that is not covered in that 150 ka limit. In fact, in own contribution also, you have two subsections. Subsection 1 and subsection 1B. The 50,000 which goes under 1B, that also does not come in this total wala limit. And because it does not come in that limit, I will always take that first. So what exactly I am going to do is, under 80 CCD, I will first take my own contribution. Please understand the presentation, the mental thinking and the paper writing. Many a times what we think in our mind and what we write on paper will be different. In fact, human nature wise also, you see, the words which come to your mind when you talk to some people and you want to speak to them, those words on their face, but you don't speak them. If we start speaking every word that we are thinking, we will have no relationship. Every word that you think about me in your mind, if you start speaking, so we won't be able to face each other only. Hai ke nahi? We won't write everything we are thinking. What we are thinking, what we are writing, you have to pay attention. You just don't have to copy. Pay attention to what is happening. What is my own total contribution? 6,000 into 12, 72,000. Whatever I have to take in 1 and 1B together, I have to adjust in this 72. What I want you all to understand is, in this total limit, subsection 1 should come. Correct? Now that I am presenting this here, so I will have to write subsection 1 here only. But somewhere are all of us aware that we should give first preference to 1B, because anything I take in subsection 1 will further have limit. But anything that I take in 1B, which, how much can I take in 1B? That won't have any further limit. So what I am exactly doing, pay attention. I am keeping aside an amount for subsection 1B, and that is rupees 50,000. That means you mentally assume that you have taken that 50,000. Just in the solution I have to write, I have taken 50,000 first, because I will take it first. It does not have any other limit. Have I taken that 50? I have taken it. Only writing is remaining. So for the purpose of subsection 1, my actual contribution will be considered as only rupees. Correct? Hai? And shall I take this full 22 ka deduction? No. Subsection 1 will be restricted to 10% of salary. So what is your salary for this purpose also? 5.4 plus 1.2, that is 66,000. So out of these two, whichever is lower will become your deduction under, hello, subsection 1. Ye correct hai? Giving you total of 1,25,000, and this 1,25,000 is within the 80 CCE limit of 1.5. So I have applied individual limit as well as total limit. You understand? While doing this, I have already taken 1B first. Hello, if I wouldn't have taken 1B, so what would have happened? 72 would have been restricted to 66. Then 66 would have come here. Total would have become 169. And I would have restricted that 169 to 1,50,000. I would have lost that much deduction because of that total limit. So don't let subsection 1 come first. Always take subsection 1B. Is that clear? We have written in the chapter also first preference. But at the same time, do you also understand, while I am taking 1B first, I am presenting 1 first, because with 80C I have to write 1. So it is assumed that I have taken it separately. Now only the writing part will remain. So I will do what now? take 80 CCD subsection 1B and take the deduction here 50,000 rupees. And I will also, anything else? Finish. Ha, 80 CCD2 is also going to come, no? Employer contribution. How much is employer contribution? Actual, which already we have written in the above solution, so you don't need to show also breakup. You can write 96,000, which will be restricted to, and we will take 10% because we are doing. Bro, tell me one thing. Only for 4% extra are you going to leave all the other deductions that you are getting? Obviously no. So 10% of salary will be 5.4 plus 1.2, that is 66,000. Of course, this will be your deduction, and the total deduction here will become 2,41,000. I hope you are aware that this 241 we are subtracting from 15,42,190, which we have already written in our outer column. So 1542,190 minus 2,41, 13,01,190 will finally become your net taxable total income. Everyone understood? That was your question number 177. Question 178, please.
X is a resident individual who contributes annually a sum of 15,000 with LIC for the maintenance of his handicapped dependent grandfather. What is the deduction under section 80DB? Will it make any difference if the dependent is a disabled brother, 40% disabled?
Okay, first, case 1. Contribution for handicap dependent GF, grandfather. Hey, grand, short may will write that only, no? How much will be his deduction? No deduction. Sir, why? So, Dadu. No deduction. Nil. Why? Because grandfather is not falling in the definition of dependence. And what about if it is a brother? He spent only 15,000 rupees. But it's a flat deduction. So if it is brother, his answer, your answer is going to be flat deduction of 75,000. ये clear है? Okay, fantastic. Next.
Calculate the deduction under section 82DB for the following persons.
Look at how I have presented the question. It's a columnar manner question. You have 4 assessees A, B, C, D. Their data is given resident, non-resident, resident, who is the dependent, etc. If you observe the particulars, in the first line, I have given you the actual expenditure. That means, can I say this is the hospitalization expense that you have incurred? Because in the second line, I have left space for you to write what is going to be the maximum deduction. Under section 80 DDB, there is a maximum limit for deduction. We call it the qualifying amount. After we get the qualifying amount, based on whether you are senior citizen or not a senior citizen, then we have some reimbursements that you have received. Do you understand that these reimbursements we are going to subtract? And after subtracting this, I have this last row again left blank for you for giving you the deduction. So, for example, let me do the first assessee A with you. What is the amount of actual expenditure incurred by A, the resident assessee? 30,000. However, what is the maximum that is allowed under 40,000? Correct? Hai? So choose between 30 and 40. What will be your qualifying amount? 30,000. Can I say this becomes my qualifying amount? And from the qualifying amount, I am going to subtract my reimbursements, giving you the deduction of 40. After you subtract 10,000, 20,000, you will get deduction of. You understood or no? Now let's do the second one. This time you will. You understood the process. I have kept 2 rows empty. One for writing maximum and the second for writing the deduction. Okay. B, non-resident assessee. What is the actual expense? 58,000. Maximum it will be. Why? Directly here, nil as NR. Correct? Next. Resident assessee but non-resident senior citizen. dependent 70,000 maximum. Hey, non-resident senior citizen. So you won't get, no. You will get how much? Assessee has to be resident. Here you will get the deduction. How much? A senior citizen. You will get, but you won't get higher limit. Qualifying amount will be 40,000. Reimbursement of 37,000, giving you deduction of 3,000. And last D, resident assessee and resident senior citizen dependent. So 1 lakh 80, maximum amount 1 lakh. So what is going to be your qualifying amount? Qualifying amount is 1 lakh and subtract your reimbursements to get your deduction of 52,000. Clear hai everyone? Okay, next question number 180.
Determine the amount deductible under section 80Q2B in the following cases: A, B, C. Royalty on books covered by section 90,000 abroad, 6 lakhs India. Percentage of value 18%, 12.5%. Lump sum payment for assignment of copyright 8 lakh abroad. Expenditure for earning royalty or lump sum amount remitted into 10,000, 1 lakh 50,000, 2 lakh 40,000. Amount remitted into India in CFE till 30th September 25, 70,000, 7 lakh.
Question is asking you to calculate the deduction under section 80 QQB. 3 different assessees are given to you. Have all the 3 assessees given their actual royalty to you? Yes. Whoever has got abroad and whoever has got in India, they have given that amount to you also. Whoever has got from abroad, they have also given you the amount that was remitted within the time limit allowed. The first guy and the third guy, because these are the 2 people who are earning from abroad. They have also given you percentage. For the guys who have earned in percentage, they have given percentage. But for the person who has earned lump sum, they don't need to give you percentage, because all questions of royalty, everything is not applicable. What is our first step to calculate deduction of 80 QQ? First step is to calculate qualifying amount. So step number 1, qualifying amount is going to be least of the following, which we can do columnar, no, for the 3 people ABC. First amount, which will always come, actual royalty earned by A is 90,000, by B is, and by C is actual hai na, can you? Without actual, how can there be deduction? Second, if percentage, second limit is applicable only and only if it is percentage, so we will take maximum 15. So first check, 1 minute, what your mind should be thinking. Is there anyone who is in lump sum category? Who is that? So we put a dash here, so that we know we have to solve only for the other 2. You got to understand the point. We have to solve only for the one which it is applicable. Now you go and see, A ka 90,000 is paid at what percentage? 18%. So if 18% is this much, so 15% is how much? 75,000. Fantastic. And as far as B is concerned, B ka 6 lakh is paid at 12.5%. No need to do this, please understand. See, whatever be the answer, 15% will be higher than 12.5. Ultimately, our final answer is going to be lowest, so that amount can never become the answer. Whatever be the third amount also. But this amount, you want to write 6 lakh divided by 12.5 into 15 and waste time in writing that amount, you do. But one thing we will understand, that will never become the answer. Still, you want to do it, you do it. Or you can leave it like this also. It will be higher only. I am not interested. I have already said that I am going to choose the least of. Correct or no? And the third one, this is only and only if it is from abroad. If abroad, so we have to see how much is the forex that was brought within time. Wait, you won't write that first. First, you will see who is in India wala case and put a dash against B. You understand what is not applicable, first eliminate. Hello. Now see, what is the forex brought by the others? A got 70,000 and B got 7 lakh. Fantastic. So now we know what is my qualifying amount. 70,000 and 7 lakh. क्यों बी का कुछ नहीं. Now what? Minus the step 2 में what are we doing? We are going to give deduction direct. Minus the, you leave, I will only tell you what to do. Minus the expenses. What is the expense here? 10,000. 1,80,000. 2,40,000. These are your expenses. Hello. Will give you your final answer of 60,000, 4,20,000 and 4,60,000. Can I say these three amounts will become your deductions? No. So kya? The deduction cannot exceed 3 lakh rupees. So in case 1 it is within the limit, no problem. But case 2, case 3, if your answer is coming to more than 3 lakh, you will have to restrict your deduction to a maximum of. Is that very clearly understood by everyone? Absolutely clear hai? Okay, fantastic. Let's go ahead. Question number 181.
Mr. Manjesh, resident senior citizen, aged 62 years, gave the following information regarding his income in previous year 24-25. Calculate income tax payable. He sold a house property on 16th August 24 for 55 lakhs. This property was acquired by him on 27th April 1999 for 7 lakhs. FMB on 1st April 2001 was 10 lakhs. Brokerage paid on sale was 1.5% of sale consideration. He also sold an urban land for 16 lakhs on 9th September 24. This land was purchased 3 months ago for 12 lakh 50,000. Brokerage on sale 1%. He has paid medical insurance premium for himself 10,000, for wife 8,000, dependent son 4,000, and for mother 50 years resident 18,000 by account checks. He has also paid in cash on account of preventive health checkup of himself 2,000, wife 1,500, and mother 4,000. Medical expenditure of mother 25,000 and father 85 years resident 45,000. Deposit under senior citizen savings scheme 2004 20,000.
Now if you are wondering, sir, question over abhi kya? Abhi kya nahi, that question has told you long ago. Now what? Calculate the income tax payable. So what is your income tax payable? It cannot be calculated until you have first calculated your entity. So even if the question is asking you to only calculate tax, you still will have to first calculate your entity. Correct? Huh. Now what are you thinking? Capital gains. What are you thinking? GTI. Look at your condition, that supposingly you are left to by yourself and you are told to write your exam ka question paper ka answers when you have to write. No, you don't even know what you want to do or what you have to do. But class mein we will come and we will copy everything. Abhi bolo na, what do you do? What will you do? Blank paper pe? So who will say that? Twice I asked, thrice I asked. You think I am not important? You think my questions are not important? Did I ask twice, thrice? What are you thinking? What do you want to do? You think that is not relevant to answer? What do we have to do? Every time we have to calculate NTTI, what do we have to do? If left by yourself, no blank piece of paper pe, you don't even know what is to be done. What will you do then? An exam mein you get marks only by writing on that answer paper. And when you say heads of income, now what you are thinking? Salary, not there. House property, there, no? है ना? हाँ, लगा ही था. I thought as much. I'll definitely get at least a couple of students who are in their own self world. They argue also, sir, क्या नहीं है ना house property, sir? Can't you see it is house property is there, so house property will come, no? बराबर? Correct है ना? नहीं, हाउस प्रॉपर्टी they have said no. Sir, क्या sir, house property they are giving, you are not doing. When you rent a house property out, no, then that is income from house property. When you sell house property, that is still income from house property because it is house property. So there is no income from house property. PGBP, not there. Capital gain, there. एक minute, we'll write that. But you, by chance, supposingly assume capital gain is over. So what you are thinking, I want to know that. IFOS, not there. Huh? Not there. So effective, we understand that the only head of income this assessee has. That also only two transactions. Capital gain arises on transaction, not a regular or recurring source of income. There are only two transactions. One, he has sold house property, two, he has sold land. So effective, he only has capital gains on two transactions. One, first transaction, under capital gains, first transaction is sale of house property. Correct? Hai? We will do what? Gross sale consideration, net sale consideration. Because question I think has given us brokerage. So gross sale consideration is rupees 55 lakh, giving us transfer expense of 1.5%, 82,500. Net sale consideration 54 lakh 17,500. Oh, one day you will make sure. भक नहीं बोलने का. Cost of acquisition. Why? Because it is post amendment. What will we take? Actual cost of 7 lakh or fair market value, whichever is beneficial. Giving. तो beneficial higher ही होता है. हाँ, higher also is right. Beneficial was right only. So don't correct me. 10 lakh. Giving you Lutsug of 44 lakh 17,500. But that's not the only transaction during the year. Second, he has also sold urban land. Hey, if it was agricultural land, then exempt, no? Urban agricultural land capital asset 9. If this was, what was my question? What was my question? If it was agricultural land, so I did not remove urban. Matlab you assume that agriculture bola matlab it is rural. If this was agricultural land, so not a capital asset, it is a capital asset. But exempt or taxable? Exempt. Exempt or taxable? If it was agriculture, I just add agriculture here. So exempt or taxable? Exempt है. Taxable. Urban is never exempt, right? Rural is not a capital asset. That I asked question for urban, but you answered for rural. Do that in exam also. Whatever they ask, you answer what you have decided. I did not ask about rural. Rural is not a capital asset. That's not a smart answer, even if you have answered it. For two reasons. One, it is too damn easy. Second, that was not even the question. My question is about urban agricultural land. This is not agriculture. This we will solve. This is taxable capital gain. You don't understand. My intention is not to make you solve only these questions. You have to be ready for anything and everything. If they modify the question here, your answer has to be modified. If you don't modify your answer based on question, you don't get marks for answering what you have thought. Pre-decided answers don't work here. You think you are giving your TY BCom ka economics ka paper. You think you are giving your 10th standard ka history, civic, geography ka paper. That your pre-decided answers will work. I will answer only what I have thought, irrespective of what is the actual answer. It does not work like that. झापड़ मारूंगा ना एक खींच के. If this was agricultural land, it would have been taxable or exempt. Taxable, because urban agricultural land is never exempt. Correct है? I am asking about sale only. And this is sale. Will it be taxable? Yes. And then my next question, right answer. But my next question is, urban agricultural land में there is never any exemption. Which exemption? Sale का I am asking. Is there any exemption? Okay, there is no exemption. Compulsory acquisition of urban agricultural land is exempt. I am only showing you the mirror. Okay, remember you are responsible for your results. Remember that. My job is to complete your syllabus. Next few days I will complete your syllabus. You are at your own risk, and I take absolutely no responsibility for this attitude of yours. You don't remember basic things also. सर है या चले गए? मीटिंग में है? ठीक है, मैं बाद में बात करता हूँ. I take absolutely no responsibility because I am asking about urban land. You are answering about rural land. Why? Because I have thought about that, not a capitalist. I am asking what is going to be standard deduction. I am asking what will be standard deduction in new regime. You are giving me the total because sir, I have already thought. I am least interested in listening to the question. I will speak only what I want. Urban agricultural land sale is taxable. Urban agricultural land compulsory acquisition is exempt. This is only urban land. So whether sale or compulsory acquisition, everything would have been taxable only. This is also taxable. Gross sale consideration is 16 lakh rupees minus transfer expense 1%, 16,000. Net sale consideration is 15 lakh 84,000 minus cost of acquisition. YCOA. Short term story is over there itself. 12 lakh 50,000, giving you short term capital gain of rupees 3 lakh 34,000. And knowing and analyzing the question that there is no other transaction, effectively net में your gross total income is nothing but the sum total of these two transactions, which is 44,17,500 plus 3 lakh 34,000, making it 47 lakh 51,500. Because this, by the way, we have not done any adjustment of chapter 6A in this question till now, just to let you know. What kind of questions are total income questions? This is that kind where in one question you will be tested on salary also and chapter 6A deduction. Go check the first question of deductions. Did you observe that you were tested on salary? Did you observe that same question tested you on house property? Set off because brought forward loss of your house property was given. Casual winnings, so IFOS was tested. Deductions under chapter 6A was tested. They could have simply added calculate tax in that question also. From where we started NTTI till tax calculation still has 3 chapters: tax rates, relief, and alternate minimum tax. From the beginning till the end, everything can come in one question. With you being totally blank about what is happening, what is not happening, forget about the happenings or the subjects taught or the concepts taught. Question is what? What is the question and what are you answering? You are completely blank about that also as of now. Completely blank. This despite the fact that on multiple occasions there have been some small and big gaps in our lectures. Today being one such case, we are having a class after 4 days. This is really unfortunate. But then you have already invited trouble. CA is a very difficult course, which is why the respect associated with it. But you have to work towards making it easy. You are only making matters worse. This is the primary reason why the pass percentage of chartered accountancy is very, very poor. You scored 90, 80, 90 plus in your 12th standard maths, accounts, etc. not because you were a different human being at that time, but simply because that one question book that you had, whether your reliable series book or this book or that book, whichever author ka book you follow in your 11th 12th accounts, you probably solved the same question 10 15 20 100 times. Today you have IS questions across the country, you're not even willing to solve the book once. You don't have the willingness only to do anything, so you are inviting trouble. I just want to give the disclaimer that remember, I will record the date and the time. Today is 19th of February. This is part 2 of today, that is lecture number 35 ka part 2 hai, because all the lectures that I took till date were 4 hours ka lecture, so they were all in one recording only. But today we already had the first part of the day as a big recording already. So this is part 2, this is a separate recording. So on our 35th lecture we have two recordings, recording number 1, recording number 2, and at a little over 1 hour in your lecture number 35 part number 2, you can write it down because you are too keen on writing things in class. So make sure you write this also in your notebook. Lecture 35 part 2, 6:30 p.m. timing we won't know, but second part ka somewhere around 1 hour ka recording. I was clearly told that I am inviting trouble, but I did not do anything about that warning. So whatever happens on the result day, I am myself to be blamed and responsible for this, because the attitude with which you are approaching, I don't see good days for you coming. Days will come, may won't wait for anyone, but the days may not be good for you, and you are risking your career with this attitude of yours. And I am putting this effort also. Believe me, I really don't care when students don't answer. I finish my job, I have to give you the solution to this 80D ka data given in this question. I can finish this question in 2 minutes and go ahead to the next question. But at somewhere at the beginning of your batch, especially after that big gap of 20 days, when you answered my questions on ROR, RNOR with confidence and correct answers, there was a ray of hope somewhere that maybe you are going to make all of us jointly proud. You are proud, I am proud, teachers, all teachers are proud, parents are proud, family members are proud. Is probably and possibly the reason why I am consuming the time that I am, to make you understand that you have all the resources available, but you are still making big mistakes of not approaching it with sincerity. Now देख लो अभी, I am making it very very clear that when you sit down and cry and you try to analyze reasons, write down in your notebook today only lecture 35 part 2, 1 hour. That is the reason, no other reason. Okay, so the total year is 47,51,500. Here we are going to subtract deduction under chapter 6a. Every time we write deductions, we have to mention the maximum amount. The maximum amount in this question is going to be rupees 3,34,000, because long-term capital gain taxable at special rate is going to be disqualified from deduction. So effectively short-term also non-stock market. If it was stock market, so that is also disqualified. This question has given too much of data about 80D. In that flow of 80D, it is heavily likely and possible that you probably not notice that this question has also given us 80C, that is senior citizen saving scheme, that is also given to you in this question, 20,000 rupees. Don't forget to take that deduction, because other than this, everything in the question is about section 80D. Now section 80D ka calculation will be as per working note 1, because too much of data is given. Your own premium, spouse ka premium, health checkup is given, medical expenses given. So much data, we will make a working note, write the deduction here. Once I write the deduction here, that will become my total deduction. Once I have my total deduction, I will just subtract the total deduction and I will derive my net taxable total income. However, if you observe carefully, this question is asking you to do calculation of tax, which even if we do NTTI, you won't be able to do right now, mainly because you haven't learned the tax rates properly as yet. I only gave you rough idea, but this is an unwritten task for you that you will leave some 20, 30, 20 lines also enough here. Once we finish our tax rates chapter, you will come back and complete this question. Because after that you will be able to do. NTTI we are completing. But after that you come and complete this. In that also I will explain. You will have to split your income into normal and special. Hello? Normal income will be taxable at normal rate. Long-term capital gain is in the after amendment period. So it will be taxable at 12.5%. But this is resident individual having immovable property which was acquired before 23rd July. So while doing the tax calculation, at that time you will have to do the second working also. Net sale consideration was 54, 17,500. From this you will subtract ICAI, that will be 10 lakh divided by 100 into 363, 36 lakh 30,000. On that you will apply 20%. So 20% of with indexation or 12.5 without indexation. For LTCG you can choose whichever is beneficial, and for the other income you have to apply slab rates. This benefit of paying tax as per the old provision of LTCG is only in limited cases and only in tax calculation. Supposingly that 20% wala tax is coming as beneficial, my income won't change, my income will remain this only. That benefit to be given only and only at the time of tax calculation. So as long as you are doing income calculation after 23rd July, there is no question of indexation. But in this calculation, you will have to calculate long-term capital gain ka tax twice. At 12.5% on this capital gain and at 20% on the with indexation gain. That gain also you will have to calculate. Choose the lower of the two, take the other tax, that total will become your basic tax. Plus you have other concepts like rebate, surcharge, health and education cess. We'll learn all those concepts. This you will have to come and complete later. You won't be able to do it right now. Right now we can only complete our NTTI by making our working note 1. Our working note 1 is basically giving us what calculation? Calculation of section 80D. If I complete 80D, at least I will be able to complete my NTTL. In 80D, there are two categories. Category 1 is self, spouse. Children is wrong. It is dependent children. And second category is we have incurred expense for both categories. So one by one we will pick up our expense and write it under the respective category. For example, question starts by giving me life insurance premium for himself 10,000. Medical insurance, sorry, my bad, of himself 10,000. Wife rupees 8,000. Dependent son 4,000 and mother 18,000 by account pay check. These are the amount that they have given you first. So we will write the premium one by one. And because it is check, we will give the deduction. Had it been cash, we would have taken 0 because cash is not allowed. Okay, so one by one we will write the premium in the applicable column. For example, self will come in the first column. The second column we will put a dash. Then premium of wife will come in the first column. So second column we will put a dash. Then premium of, had it been independent son, so I would have taken 0 only. That is what you have to understand, that limit of 25,000 is applicable but only on the eligible payments. So in case of dependent son, yes, you are eligible. Put a dash here. Then premium of your mother, this time we'll put the dash here and take deduction of 18,000 here. Ye correct hai? Now carry on. What is the next thing that they have done? Preventive health checkup. Correct hai? He has paid for preventive health checkup, but preventive health checkup we will take last. Reason is we will finish everything else and check where we have outstanding limit, because preventive health checkup ka total allowed is 5,000. So we will do that last. Other than health checkup, what else do we have? Medical expenditure of mother and father. Let's complete that part first. We have been given medical expense of mother. Mother is resident plus senior citizen. So how much is the expense incurred? 25,000. So we'll take that deduction. Why? Mother is insured. So we won't get that. Yeah, so dash, first column to dash only. Second column में we will write nil because it is. Yeah, but I'll tell you one thing. Don't take premium of 18. Then 25 will be better now. You don't have the option only. Okay? If there is premium, you have to take premium. Then medical expense का deduction is not going to be allowed. ये clear है everyone? Okay. Next. Medical insurance. Medical expense of father. Father is resident. Father is senior citizen. And father does not have insurance. So this amount we will take. How much is this amount? 45,000. Everyone is with me? Can I say I have a mini total of 22,000 and 63,000. I call this total before checkup. Total before checkup. Why? Because when I give checkup ka deduction, I know that the total I am eligible for is total that I am eligible for is 5,000. Correct? Hai? What is the expense that I have incurred? First, I'll check the expense. What is the expense that I have incurred in the first category for self and spouse? 2,000 and 1,500. That is 3,500, and mother it is 4,000. So total amount that I have spent is 7,500. One thing is for sure, I won't get 7,500. See, if I take 3.5 year, then I will be able to take 1.5 year. And if I take 4 year, then I will be able to take 1 year. Total 7.5 is never going to be allowed. For this, I will go and examine which category has left some window for me. Second category, so you can clearly see has exceeded all the limits. A single rupee put in the second category is of no use. So one thing is clear, that when I will give my health checkup ka deduction, I am going to give preference to first category. Correct hai? Cash. But cash is allowed. I will give preference to the first category, 3,500, and then here I will take the balance 1,500, because the total we can take maximum 5,000. I know that 1,500 is of no relevance to us because 63 itself is exhausted the full category threshold. But for presentation, I have to show that if this was not 63, maybe it was 23, then I would have taken 1,500 there as well. Hello. Fourth, I can still not take no, because total ka limit is 5,000. Now this will become my actual total expense. This will become my actual total expense. How much is my actual total expense? 25,500, and this is 64,500. This is actual total. You don't get this deduction. It will be restricted to the maximum limit. First, tell me the second category. That is very easy. 50,000. Sir, why 50? Residence in. And I'll tell you what. There was one hint also while doing ETD. If you are having hospitalization expenses, that means that category definitely has to be 50,000, because hospital expenses ka 3 condition: resident, senior citizen, no insurance, and 50,000 limit only 2 conditions, so they are to definitely fulfilled. Second category is very easy, mainly because you have hospital bill, and otherwise also parents we have seen. Correct? So second category limit is 50, lower of the two 50, and first category ka limit will be rupees 20. Q. Mr. Manjesh. Is also senior citizen. Anybody writing 25 year without checking this will take 50 plus 25, 75. Your 80D is wrong, which means your total deduction is wrong, which means your NTTI is wrong, which means your basic tax, your cess, everything is wrong. What will you get marks for? Some people say, sir, marks for steps. You think it's a dance show? That one step corrects, so 1 mark. Step marking. No step marking. You lose everything. One mistake. On highways, they put up Hindi signboards. Savdhani hati, durghatna ghati. In Marathi also there is a proverb. I'll explain the Marathi proverb. You did this 50,000 correctly. You did not focus on Manjesh ka age. Manjesh's 62 age makes this limit 50 and answer 2500. If you would have written 25 years, then 25 would have been your answer, which is wrong. Marathi mein we call it Marathi proverb. You may not understand. जसं दिसतं तसं नसतं म्हणून जग फसतं. I am not translating. You already know. You already know that you have made a mistake by not noticing the age of Manjesh. Manjesh is 62 and therefore this is your answer, and therefore the total is 75,500. Your answer would have been 75. Understood? Don't celebrate. Question is not over. So this is 75,500. Total deductions will become 95,500 and your NTTI will become 46 lakh 56,000. 55 hai? That was your section 80D ka practice. Fantastic. Question number 180.
Mr. A has commenced the business of manufacture of computers on 1st April 24. He employed 350 new employees during the previous year 24-25 as follows. Number of employees, rate of employment, regular or casual, monthly emoluments per employee. First 75, 1st April 24, regular 26,000. 125, 1st May 24, regular 24,000. 50, 1st August 24, casual 70,000. 100, 1st September 24, regular 24,000. The regular employees participate in RPF while casual employees do not. Further, out of 75, 125, 50, 100 regular employees employed on respective dates, only 40, 30, 20 and 60 qualify as workmen under Industrial Disputes Act 1947. Compute the deduction, if any, available to Mr. A for assessment year 25-26 if the profits and gains derived from manufacture of computers is 75 lakhs and his total turnover fully in cash is 2.16 crores and he has not opted for 4480. Also compute the deduction if the SSC is a manufacturing of footwear business instead of computers.
See, part 1 of the question is assessee is in computer business and part 2 is assessee is in footwear business. How will it change your calculation? In part 1 we will apply 240 days and part 2 we will apply 150 days. Okay, fantastic. First of all, 80JJAA ka deduction is allowed only if you are covered under tax audit. Is this assessee covered under tax audit? 1. This assessee ka turnover is 2.16 crore, which crosses the 1 crore ka threshold. But still there are some people who may not fall under tax audit because some people fall under tax audit only after 10 crore. But they are only those people whose receipts and payments are not exceeding 5%, which is why question actually has given you this data also, wholly in cash. That means 10 crore ka limit is not applicable. And you have not opted for presumptive. How will you opt for presumptive? In any case, your turnover is exceeding the 5% threshold. So that 3 crore ka limit won't be available to you. Your presumptive limit is 2 crore only. You are not eligible. That means you have to maintain books of accounts and you have to get a tax audit done. This data of the question makes us clear that he is an assessee falling under tax audit. Any assessee falling under tax audit can get the deduction. Fantastic. One by one. First 75 employees which were recruited on 1st April will be considered these employees for 80JJAA purposes. No, we will not consider them because their monthly salary is 26,000. and anybody earning more than 25,000 in a month is disqualified. Second, employees appointed on 1st May, their salary is 24,000 rupees. Will we consider them? At least right now it appears like we should be considering them because 24 is within the limit. 1st May means they have crossed 240, 150, whatever is the criteria. That also. But there is only one doubt, that out of these 125, only 30 qualify as workmen under Industrial Disputes Act. That means the remaining 95 do not qualify as workmen under the Industrial Disputes Act. So now what? To hell with it. Nowhere under 80JJAA we were taught that we have to comply with Industrial Dispute Act. This question ka adjustment was given only to entertain the paper checker to deduct your marks. Irrelevant. Okay. Next, 50 employees on 1st August. Salary is only 17, but they are casual employees. And the question has said that casual employees do not participate in RPF. Because they don't participate, again these employees will also be disqualified. Because any employee not participating in RPF will not be considered. And last, 1st September, these are regular employees. So are they participating in RPF? Yes. Their salary is also not crossing 25,000. Yes. And that means, can I say we will be counting these 100 employees also? No. Why we will not be counting? Because in the manufacture of computers, these employees have worked for less than 240 days. That means at least for part 1, so we will cancel them. What about part 2? Will we consider them? Because all other conditions are fulfilled. And part 2 ka number of days criteria is going to be relaxed from 240 days to. That means at least for part 2 can we consider them? Yes, because all other conditions are fulfilled. Correct hai? Now, we have to calculate the deduction. Question 182 ka part 1 first. What is the salary that we have paid them? Part 1 mein, I hope you are understanding that we will consider only the 125 employees of 1st May 24. What is the salary that we have paid them? And that means, can I say 30% of 24,000, 7,200 will become our deduction under 80JJAA? $7,200 nahi? This is per employee. So your deduction can't be this. It will be this. Right. So this is your answer? No. Because this is per month. So you have to multiply by 12. You have to multiply by 11. In ICAI question, the 1st April employees ka salary was 24,000. 1st May employees were 26,000. I purposely interchanged them because there are some people who write this much income and they feel they have done correct. There are some people who write this much income. And there are some people who are smart enough to note everything but they take 12. Whenever you are recruited, take 12. Arey, nonsense, it does not work like that. Recruited in May, then we will take only 11 months. And this total is your answer. 99 lakh. So your chapter 6 deduction is going to be nonsense. Maximum 75 lakh. This is an income related deduction. An income related deduction cannot exceed. An income related deduction cannot exceed the amount of profit that you have shown. ये clear है? In part 2, what is going to be the addition? This 99 lakh is to as it is. Plus we have some more employees becoming considered. Why? Because now 150 days will be considered. So we are going to take 30% of that part. What is that part? What is their monthly salary? 24,000. But is that it? No. We'll multiply by number of employees. How many employees? 100. And then also multiply by obviously the months. Are correct hai? Of course, this 99 plus this, the answer can still not exceed 75 lakh rupees because the answer can never exceed the profit that you have shown. अरे ये correct है. Fantastic. Question 183.
Mr. A purchased a residential house property for self-occupation at a cost of 45 lakhs on 1st June 21, in respect of which he took a housing loan of 35 lakhs from a financial institution at the rate 11% per annum on the same date. Compute the eligible deduction in respect of interest on housing loan for assessment year 25-26 under the provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961. Assuming he does not own any other house and that the principal repaid in previous year 23-24 amounts to 5 lakhs.
That means his original loan was 45, but if he has repaid 5 lakhs so far, नहीं, property का value is 45, loan was only 35 and repaid so far 5 lakhs. So the principal on which interest will be charged in the current year is going to be 30 lakhs. Correct hai? First question, will he get interest deduction under auntie section or uncle section? Auntie section, because 19, 20, 20, 21 and 21, 22. In auntie section, is he an individual? First house. So first he will go to SOP. Balance he will bring here, and that balance can be taken within the limit of 1,50,000. In auntie section, there was no limit for loan, but there was limit for property value, which property value is at that limit. So no problem. You can't be calculating deduction first. First, you will have to calculate the total interest of the current year. What is the total interest for the current year? 30 into 11%, 3 lakh 30. Will you bring this 3 lakh 30 under 80 EEA? No. What will you do? First 2 lakh we will be taking deduction under house property. So from 330, if 2 lakh is gone, you will be left with 130. And what will you do with this 1,30,000? You bring it under EEA, which is within the limit of 150. So your current year interest is 35 minus 5 ka 11%, 330. But the house property ka deduction will be restricted to 2 lakh. And after 2 lakh is gone, the remaining 130 is within the limit of 1,50,000, and accordingly you are going to get the full deduction of 1,50,000. Is everyone clear about this? All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was your chapter called deductions under chapter 6A. Today, at least as far as my syllabus completion is concerned, marks a very, very important day. Today is that day when we can actually say your syllabus is over. Now only one thing is left, and that is calculation of tax, calculation of income year by, something that we started when? Oh, something that we started. This is where I told you that we have to do calculation of income and tax. 21st December, just before the first break. Because when we started on 10 January directly with exempt income. Yes, we did exempt income directly. So, or you can say that we started NTTI learning on 10th January. So we have spent the last 1.5 months only in learning one thing, that is calculation of net taxable total income. 5 heads, clubbing, set off, deduction. This is your calculation of NTTI. While our NTTI calculation is over, syllabus is still not over. There are still a few lectures that you have to come in. We now go to the last part. So by the way, once we finish tax calculation also, even the calculation part getting over still does not mean that syllabus is over. Mainly because even after that, you still have some other closing chapters like TDS, a closing chapter like filing of return, advanced tax interest. So we have advanced tax interest, we have return filing, we have TDS, we have some 2-3 chapters that we still have to complete even after that. But of course, we won't take much time in doing that. Okay. Once we start tax calculation in the next 6-7 lectures, if we keep normal duration lectures also to be 6-7 lectures, we will get done with everything that is remaining in your syllabus. The next chapter that we have is calculation of tax liability. If income is over, it is like stating the obvious. If income is over, so we have to go to the calculation of tax liability. Unfortunately, last few years, this whole chapter has to be taught twice, because we now have to calculate tax. In every question, we have to calculate tax twice. We have to calculate tax as per old regime, and we have to calculate tax as per new regime. Because what our honorable finance minister has said is that you can pay tax as per old regime or new regime, whichever is beneficial. As a taxpayer, what can be beneficial for you? Old regime or new regime? What can be beneficial? Wherever the amount is coming as a lower amount of tax is obviously beneficial. You can't come to know unless you calculate both. Only when you calculate both, you will know which is lower. This line is small or big. If I make this, it is small. It is big. But if I make this, that line becomes small. Correct? No? You will have to calculate both. Which means every question of this chapter will be solved twice. First, to solve the question as per old regime. Second, to solve the question as per new regime. When I started I must have finished residential status, and I said now syllabus over, 2 things left. The 21st December lecture, just before we had the break. I am sure I must have told you that some years ago on the budget day, auntie suddenly, 2020 to be specific, comes in the parliament and says, everyone is asking me to reduce tax rates. I am ready to reduce tax rates. And she started announcing slabs. The rates were appearing to be low. It was getting a feeling that, wow, nice, tax will be reduced. However, she said that whenever you want tax benefit, so I am reducing tax. At the same time, in the entire income tax law, from the first chapter till date, there are so many tax benefits in the form of exemption and deduction that you are taking. You are taking a deduction called, today you will understand all of them, special economic zone. You are taking exemption if you are member of parliament, your MP, MLA allowance, you are taking some exemption under section 10. In salary, you are taking some deductions, standard deduction, entertainment allowance, professional tax. In SOP, you are not showing interest and you are not showing any income, still you are taking deduction of interest. LOP, you are taking no problem because you are showing income. But SOP, in PGBP, you are taking additional depreciation, unwanted scientific research benefit, 35 AD benefit. In income from other sources, you are taking deduction against family pension income. In clubbing, you are taking minor child ka exemption of 1,500 rupees per child. In set off, you are adjusting house property ka losses against other heads. Deductions is an entire chapter created for your tax benefit where you are subtracting so many amounts and making your income so low. Other than the standard deduction in salary, you are taking HRA ka exemption, leave travel allowance exemption, your children education allowance, hostel allowance, all those exemptions, tribal area allowance. All those exemptions are contributing to reduction of NTT. And you still want me to reduce tax? It does not work like that. I am giving these new slabs. As per these new slabs, no SEZ deduction, no scientific research deduction, no 3580 deduction, no additional depreciation. Salary mein no deduction. Starting mein she said that. But then no one was taking only new regime. So much restriction you will put, so who will take new regime? So she reintroduced salary ka deduction by bringing an amendment. Okay, salary mein you will get deduction. Still people were not taking. Now she made it look not attractive. She made it look attractive by rather increasing it. Same thing she did with family pension. First time she introduced, said no deduction in new regime. Then she amended and said ke same deduction, 1/3 or 15,000, whichever is lower. Then again she has this year amended and said 1/3 or 25,000, whichever is lower. But these are differences of 25,000, 10,000. They won't have a very big impact. When you leave 35, AD ka deduction, that can be lakhs and crores of rupees. SEZ ka deduction, additional depreciation. And even if these things do not apply or affect a common man, Chapter 6 affects everyone. Everyone gets affected with losing of Chapter 6. One, the tax benefit. Two, middle class will buy policies only for tax benefit. Life insurance, medical insurance. मुझे बुलाना. Just give me 2 minutes, please. Hello. नहीं. Hello. हाँ. Sorry. Where was I? क्या? जो लिखा है that don't read and just read out. Why that I can also see के option. While I write little, but I was speaking a lot about what we have written. We were talking about auntie saying that you are taking so many tax benefits, and at the same time you are asking me to. So one by one she started saying that these are the new rates and following deductions not allowed, following exemptions not allowed. Now while she was saying no tax benefit for life insurance or medical insurance, the people who were watching her on TV, the middle class, they were like, what nonsense, we take insurance only for tax benefit. Other things, so they may not have understood also. SEZ not allowed, scientific research, 35 AD, specified business. I understood everything. Which basically meant that one by one she is removing all these provisions. All these things will no longer apply. And for every deduction or exemption she is removing is basically one section less to teach. So every time she said, this won't be there, that won't be there, okay, deleted, no minimum alternate tax, no alternate minimum tax. Minimum alternate tax takes 4 lectures in CFI. MAT, AMT together go to about 6 lectures with questions. SEZ takes 1 lecture. PGBP mein you must have seen scientific research 35 AD to how much time? I will easily reduce at least 20 lectures of CA final if she goes ahead with this plan, is what my mind immediately calculated even while the budget speech was on. When she finally dropped the bomb at the end stating it is optional. Means yes, if we do this, 30% of your syllabus gone. But only if this is gone. Who told you it is gone? It is still there. In fact, you will have to learn. You have to learn, matlab I have to teach. You will have to learn all the deductions and exemptions. Reduce and have a lower NTTI and calculate your tax as per old rates. Old rates were obviously high. Don't reduce. No exemption, no deduction, no exemption, no deduction. That will be higher NTTI. And on the higher NTTI, we will apply lower tax. And this tax or this tax, whichever is beneficial. If this much lower, of course, if this was not enough, now from this year, in this there will be LTCG. So while calculating this tax, there will be 2 LTCG tax calculations. In that also we have to choose lower. And same thing we have to do here. That means, you guys, what if I tell you? You have to calculate tax 4 times. Because we are making the income tax law simple. So how are we making it simple? By making you calculate tax 4 times. Are you understanding this? Which basically means that every question of this chapter we will be solving twice. First we will be solving as per old regime, then we will be solving as per new regime. We will be first picking up our old regime. Now you must be wondering, no sir, everyone is talking about new regime, let's discuss. Old regime is not going anywhere, it is still there in the law. You have to learn. In fact, this year also, next year also. And in the new bill also, they have proposed old regime and new regime. At least if you're bringing the new thing only, then remove everything. No? Whatever you feel is unnecessary. Right now, you can't directly abolish all the exemptions, deductions and compulsory because you know you may have to face the music of being responsible for disaster in insurance sectors. But the bill is proposed, bill is under discussion, it will take some time for the bill to get passed. That much time may the insurance industry will be mentally ready. Sudden news is a problem in the stock market. When you know that bill is presented, there won't be tax benefit, it will take some time for the committee to finalize the bill, it will become act. So that won't be a sudden news. Then things will become very easy. However, not the case in case of auntie. So effectively, ladies and gentlemen, at least right now you will have old regime as well as new regime. First, we will be doing old regime of all assessees. While our focus is only individual HUF, we are not interested in company firm. At least I will still not leave you completely blank about it. I will be doing company firm. Though I won't leave you blank, as I said, I will be doing, but I won't be spending the amount of time that I spend with CA Finance. All assessees we will finish. And then we will go to new regime. The slight bad news is this also, that under both regimes, old as well as new, there isn't common rate of tax for all assessees. Just like residential status, do you know it was different for every assessee? We first did individual, which took maximum time. Then we did HUF, company, firm, one by one, they were all small. They were together not as big. Same thing happens in tax rate also. Individual is going to consume massive time in tax calculation. Massive time. The biggest of all. In fact, individual is divided into three categories. Normal individual, senior citizen and super senior, very senior. When you touch 60, you are considered as senior. When you touch 80, you are considered as super senior. And as your age increases, your tax amount will keep on reducing. We will pay highest tax, second will be senior citizen and lowest will be super senior. As your age increases, your tax will reduce. So individuals are divided into three categories. So we have to learn tax of all the three categories. Then we have to learn those concepts of rebate, surcharge, cess, etc. It will take a lot of time. But again, same thing here also. The others are very, very small. They won't take that much time. Very, very small. They will certainly not take that much time. Okay. So I will be starting your tomorrow's lecture with Roman 1, that is individual in the old regime. I don't want to do tax rates for some time and then again split it over to the next lecture. So tomorrow's lecture will be 12 to 4. My lecture is 12 to 4. I will be starting. First thing that I will do on the notepad is write 1. Individual ka tax rates under the old regime. Because in any case, we are first completing our old regime. I am going to see you guys tomorrow's lecture, please. Thank you very much.